Welcome back to the Wizard Shop. It's a nice cool fall day in Kansas, and this video is about working on cars and the hidden dangers that you run into. Let's take a look. All over the roads of America there are cars roaming around on the highways that the owners have had work done on their cars at various shops, and there's dangers and things that have been done to the car that the owners aren't even aware of. Just like the situation on this Lamborghini Gallardo, it's a 2008, there are major issues going on here. And it's nothing to do with the owner. The owner didn't do any of this. He had some aftermarket radio equipment installed, and it created a chain reaction of just hell. We're going to show you here in a minute what we found. We've got the radio out, and it's scary, guys. It's really scary that somebody did this to a Lamborghini. It's really sad. And then we're going to take a look at the Ferrari 360 back there, another hidden danger. So let's start with the Lamborghini. So this customer dropped this off all the way from Detroit to have us do a read on the clutch, do a snap test, and see where we're at, see if it needs a clutch, and do some other services. And we can't even get there. We have the OEM Lamborghini Lara and also LDAS software. It won't communicate with this car. Our Autel tool will not communicate with this car. Nothing will. I did some serious testing. You guys in the comments actually helped me. Let's check the radio, check the ABS, check those things, unplug them. It may be one of those issues. I did all that. It still didn't solve anything. I still can't communicate. Finally, we called the customer and was like, where was this last worked at? What did you have done? We know they did a snap test at that time. How was it they were able to read it at that time, but now we can't? And then the information comes out. He's like, okay, so after they read that information, they installed an aftermarket stereo system for me. And then he mentioned they also had a lot of trouble with it, with the rear view camera and several other items. And they mentioned to him that they really had to finagle this to make it work. And when I heard those words, I thought, you mean rigged it, which means they probably shut down the whole K-line or the CAN bus or something. They have caused some issues here, some big headaches. When we have these types of issues in the shop, there is no book time on it. The customer has already described to us, he has told us, as long as it takes, I'm happy to pay it. We told him this situation is going to be hour by hour by hour, for every hour it takes to figure out and unscrew the screw-ups. The customer said that's fine, that's what's got to be done, I'm happy to pay it. So let me show you guys what I found. This is the radio. This is an aftermarket unit made in China. It looks almost stock. It looks like it's supposed to be here, but it's not. It's made by, I don't even know who it's made by. DVD Player China. That's who it's made by. So I'll go ahead and set this in the floorboard. So many of you commented that alone may be the problem. The radio is the problem. The way that they do the CAN bus or try to do different things. But I pulled the radio completely out, just like I did now, and set it in the floorboard. And I went wire diving right through this hole right here. Just a heads up, this is pretty scary stuff, guys. Let me show you. When I got the radio out of the way, this is what I saw. And I thought, okay, there's a little cluster of wires here, and that's probably it. But then I started pulling wires, and more, and more, and more, and more came out. And there's some relay that goes to God knows what. And then here is a Bagoo BG04, which is a CAN bus module. This is our CAN bus connection to our radio. It's not here at the connection on the radio like you guys thought. They've got some module serving as an interface. And then I started pulling out more. And more. And more. And it just keeps going, guys. I don't even know what that goes to. It doesn't even connect to anything. Oh, it's USB ports. Okay. That is not Audi, Volkswagen, Lamborghini. None of that is. Well, these connectors right here are, that go into this little adapter. So what's going on here, guys? There's a relay. There's a K40. I don't know if that's an alarm system. We have, this is our antenna. This goes to the radio. There's multiple connections to the radio. I did some research on this Bagoo or Bagoo, whatever it's called. These are known to fail and take the whole system down. I'm going to have to research to see if I can purchase another one and try that. I've tried unplugging it and just leaving it unplugged, but that didn't work. It still has no communication. Then I start seeing patched wires like here at the relay. Some wires here that go into the dash, and I don't know where they go, deep inside to the dash. Maybe it's a power supply, or... And then there's wires here that really don't go to anything. So as many wires and junk that you see hanging, literally like guts hanging out of a person just laying here, there's that much again still inside the dash. I have to dig in there and dive and figure out what in the world happened. This is not something that gets fixed in 15 minutes. I'm going to have to sort through and re-engineer and figure out what did they do, what happened here. The owner of this car gave the information to the previous shop so Crazy D in the office could call them, but they will not answer our calls. We left voicemails, 2 or 3 of them. They will not respond. They will not return our calls. They don't want to talk to us. So I don't know what to do there. I was just going to simply ask, maybe is there something I should look for, or is there something that could be bad here? But since they won't cooperate, I'm on my own on this one. So we will get to the bottom of it. We'll figure it out. By now, we should have a clutch job going on this Lamborghini. We should be about done with this car. It should be going back to Detroit soon. But I'm not going to get to because we have to dig through all this stuff. So on these cars, especially the Audi, Volkswagen cars, and most modern cars, it's not as simple as plug in power in the ground and some speakers and you got a radio. That's not the way it works on these. They actually run the communication bus through the radio, the CAN bus. That's what this little black box that I showed you does. That way, when you hook your scan tool to the diagnostic connector, you can actually get codes out of the radio. You can see if there's issues going on with the radio. Communication there. That will not communicate openly with the DVD China, or whatever brand that was. So you have to make an interface. And something has gone wrong with all this stuff. It's going to be a big deal. It kind of reminds me, Mrs. Wizard, of the Alero you had. We put a remote start in it.
Well, we tried to.
Yeah, and the little module that came with it, it kept tripping the security system. And we would have to wait for 20 minutes with the key on. And it was snowing one day, I remember it did that. And we had to sit in the snow with no power, no nothing, and wait for it to reset, and then we can start the car and go on. Sometimes these little modules you buy to replace or to make things work that shouldn't be in the car, sometimes they work great, sometimes they're a major, major headache. So let's go check out the Ferrari. It's enough whining and complaining about the Lamborghini, but I wanted to let you guys know, because some of you have invested some interest in this, trying to help me figure it out, and I'm showing you what I found. It's really crazy. On to the Ferrari. This is a 2001 Ferrari F360 Modena. You've seen this in the videos in the past. This customer brings it here for services. We've done a lot of work to this car. We've done aftermarket headers. We've done a whole bunch of different stuff to this car. It's a really, really sweet car. I love this car. But this time around, the customer was out and about and driving his car and enjoying it, and it was a really, really hot day. It's one of those Kansas 106 degrees with a heat index of 120. It was really hot. It was so hot that the headliner literally just fell on him. It was just laid there. Most of the time on most cars, actually almost every car I've ever done a headliner on, it's glued to a cardboard liner. You can take the whole thing down. We can ship that off to Low End Upholstery here in Newton, and they can reupholster it and we put it back on. But on a Ferrari 360, this is the first time I've ever seen this. They glue the headliner foam directly to the sheet metal of the roof. Let's take a look. So we got the trim down and we got to looking at everything. We're like, where's the cardboard? And we got to looking, we're like, oh my goodness. Take a look, guys.
Ew, that's gross.
That is literally the roof, however Hoovy says it. It's right there, and it's glued directly to it. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but the one problem I do have is that as great a work as Lowen Upholstery does, I trust him on all this work. I wouldn't feel comfortable to give him this car and leave it at his shop and have him do all this. I don't want him to be stressed with his insurance policy, with his business. I don't want to put that kind of a burden on him. We have plenty of coverage here to cover these cars. I'm not sure that he does. That, and he has a very small shop. He's not going to be able to fit multiple cars in. This would be a car that it can never go back outside once he brings it to his shop. It has to stay inside the entire time, just like it does here. So taking the car to him is not an option. That can't happen. So we will have to get a razor and slowly just clean all of this stuff off until it's bare metal and wipe it all down. But Lowen Upholstery did come through. Let's go to the frunk and take a look. So I'll go ahead and open the frunk here. And here we go. This is the original material, the headliner. But he was able to clean it and re-adhere brand new 1/2-inch foam, just as was original to this car. So now all we have to do is position this into place, glue the back of the foam, apply it to the ceiling or the roof, however you want to call it. So now all we have to do, you can see the indentations in the foam where the trim originally was around the edges. We just have to make sure that's all lined up and then hold it there until the glue dries, which shouldn't take very long. And that way, he will have the original material that's specific to this vehicle. This is specifically Ferrari leather that goes specifically to this car. Good luck trying to find this material. Yes, you could find some black vinyl or some cheap leather or something and it would probably look okay, but that's really not what I want to do. Just like on the Bentleys we do here, when we do the headliners, they commonly fall. We do not purchase new material. We are able to clean, or actually Lowen Upholstery is able to clean and re-adhere even stronger adhesive and foam. It's just as good, if not better, than new. So we'll be able to reattach this and it'll be good as new, literally good as new. So as you guys can see, we're still very busy in the shop and most of these cars are not by the book fixes, stuff like this, which I don't complain. I'm happy to do it. It pays well and we're able to help these people out. Over the course of the several years that I've ran a shop, I've known several younger guys that try to get off the ground and start their own shop. These little things like the headliner or the wiring in that Gallardo, it's enough to make a new guy crumble. They're like, this is crazy. I'm not doing this. I'm not getting into this. This is nuts. This is not what I signed up for. And pretty soon, they're back at a dealership or back at an independent shop working for a boss again. You got to really have some fortitude. In the military, we called it intestinal fortitude. When the going gets rough, you push back even that much harder and you make it work. You make it happen. That's how we're able to get these things done for customers. You can't crumble. You guys know about this, where you have a car in your driveway or your own personal vehicles and the wife needs the car to get back to work and you're like, I've got to get this done this weekend. And somehow it always works. You get it done. So it's the same situation here. You just have to regroup and say, okay, so this can be done. We need to figure out how can it be done. We figured out how this can get done and I figured out now a direction I need to go on the Gallardo. So if you're curious what kind of tools we use to work on all these cars in the shop, check my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut. We really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because 600,000 subscribers, 700, 800, it's just going to keep growing because there's that many more videos to come. Thanks for watching.